Yeah.
싹 다 죽여 난 예의 없이 당장 놈의 목을 쳐. 자 울려라 자 울려라 자 울려라 자 울려라 당장해 먹고 곧바로 난 전 새끼로 날아. 나를 타기엔 이 나라 아직 여전히 작아.
In this SOS segment, what we're going to cover is a portion called ICD 9E as in Echo 978. What this has to do with is legal executions. Again, let me stress that this is in the Obamacare plan. And as you can see here, I've got it already pulled up for you. Legal execution. This is code E978. And if you need to see it, let me just jump all the way to the top here if I can. Okay, this is from Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. So this is your ICD-9 code lookup. Okay? And ICD codes were actually created by the World Health Organization in 1948. How does that sort of filter in now to Obamacare? ICD 9E978 implement Americans who sign up and register with Obamacare. It helps integrate you into the international coding system. This is also connected vis-a-vis to the Agenda 21 UN project there, etc., for sustainability, the health and well-being of mass populations, etc. What some of these legal execution means are, as they're outlined in the plan itself.
The plan has outlined all executions performed at the behest of the judiciary or ruling authority, whether permanent or temporary, as asphyxiation by gas, beheading or decapitation by guillotine, capital punishment, electrocution, hanging, poisoning, shooting, and other specified means. As far, just a side note on the beheading issue there, the U.S. has purchased, went through Congress and Congress approved it, that they purchased 30,000 guillotines and have 15,000 stored in Montana and another 15,000 stored in Georgia. But they're not saying what their governmental purposes are. They've just got 30,000 guillotines. And another question that I've got about it is, what other specified means is there to kill somebody?
What other specified means? And again, the part that bothers me, the section that bothers me here, all executions performed at the behest of the judiciary or the ruling authority, whether that's permanent or temporary, really doesn't matter. And folks, if you look down here and see, ICD-9 CM codes are used in medical billing and coding to describe diseases, injuries, symptoms, and conditions. That is why we question what in the world, or why in the world are execution codes? Why do they exist in the medical health coding system in Obamacare?
I guess being killed now is by your government is a disease. They're going to charge the insurance companies come hell or high water.
Disagreeing with your government is not a good thing. But people should be contacting their congressmen and senators regarding this ICD 9E978. And I know that people, for whatever reason, feel like they're too busy or too hesitant. They're hesitant to do that. But people, I've got to tell you something. Please, for the love of God, don't think to yourself, well, I'm just one person, what does it matter? Because if they don't hear from you, it's tacit approval, right?
Exactly.
So I think that we are just, with this administration, we have gone way beyond the point where we can stick our heads in the sand and just act like everything's going to be okay.
The media is still sticking their heads in the sand about Obama, no matter what he does. And laws are useless if there's nobody there to enforce them. And if the media isn't there to try to help with that process, the people just don't seem to be behind it.
Well, and recently, like we viewed some news video earlier of where he was the first United States president ever elected as the head of the United Nations Security Council. Mm-hmm. That is both illegal and it is unconstitutional, yet there's not one congressman, not one senator who's challenged him on this, period, amen. The Supreme Court is quiet on this. The Department of Justice is quiet on this. Now listen, we're not so stupid as to believe, and we know that you're not either. We know that this is a cabal of criminals up there right now. We know that of course, you know, Obama's a Muslim, and we know that these people hold dearly and hold close to their hearts the Marxist philosophy and idealism, ideology. But people, make no mistake about it, I really think he wants a third term if he can get it.
I think he's going for an indefinite term.
And that probably, you know, you have to consider things in context, but the bottom line is you've got to look at things like all of these Walmarts that are closing and you know, the videos that people are posting just driving around, and lo and behold, there are all these military vehicles at these Walmarts. As I've said before, here in Kentucky where we live, we went to Walmart night before last. It was actually in the evening. It was about 3 or 4 in the evening, and there was a big tractor trailer with a huge, it almost looked like an MRAP vehicle without the rear end on it. And it was parked there. And people are just sending in videos from all over the country like that. Some of them have multiple vehicles like that, and armed troops that are there in the Walmart parking lots.
Yeah, they've got it on footage.
But go ahead, Tiff.
I was just going to say, for the listeners out there that are like us, that have a Christian faith, I don't know if it struck you guys the way it had struck me and Tim when we were talking about it. The beheadings and the guillotines and everything, they just seem to fit right in with the Revelations verse that's listed here, talking about how the Christians are going to be beheaded for their witness of Jesus. And we're not going to be the ones that get the mark of the beast. And, you know, they're going to be singling us out at some point. Not to say it's coming up now, but it makes one kind of suspicious why things are happening now.
And the thing is, you can't get everyday people today. They just, as I said in an earlier video, it was a segment on one of my daily perspective segments. People just can't psychologically accept what is going on. They can't see that these people are lifting play-by-play notes right out of Hitler's Mein Kampf, which means my struggle in German. It's pages lifted right from his playbook. This administration, make no mistake about it, is a fascist, dictatorial administration. You're Americans, and listen, it's a hard pill to swallow. But I really want you to wrap your head around the fact that you don't have any representation anymore in Congress and Senate. Now, they're either cow-tied and bullied and fearful to speak, for there's too much for them to lose, or they're already bought and purchased, paid for. So I'm not suggesting anything crazy. The only thing I'm suggesting is light those phone lines up, melt them down in Washington.
People stand by all too often and think it's not going to happen to me, it's not going to happen to us, or it's not going to happen here. And what better time for it to happen? Because they do put stuff right in front of you, in front of us, and people just act like it's not there, or they didn't say that, or they didn't mean that, or it didn't happen that way. And it did. They just ignore it. It's easier to ignore it than to accept it, so they just ignore and act like nothing else is going to come of it.
And the scriptures tell us clearly that in the end times that there will, the truth will become as the lie, and the lie will become as the truth. Good will become as evil, and evil will become as good. And I mean, we're not saying that the apocalypse is right outside the door. We're not preachers. We're not theologians. We don't know that. We're simple Christians, but the fact is we are looking, though, at serious changes that are undermining this country.